Hello, this is Jessica Redden on the line from Strategic Energy Innovations. We are looking forward to launching the Energy Conservation Competition webinar. Go ahead and shoot us a message in the chat if you're able to hear us. We've been having some audio difficulties to get started. Wonderful. Thank you, Jose, for letting us know that you can hear us. That's exciting. And we will go ahead and get started at 3:35. So hopefully as folks join, they will be able to jump in with us. So welcome to the Energy Conservation Competition webinar. My name is Jessica Redden, and I am an Associate Project Coordinator at Strategic Energy Innovations. This is my second year working with SEI through the Energy Conservation Competition, and I'm very excited to kick things off again here in 2019. I'm also here with my colleague Giselle. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello everybody. My name is Giselle, and I am a nonprofit leadership fellow, and I am also, well, we both are energy advisors throughout the competition, so we're here to answer all of your questions.
Great. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can look at the PowerPoint presentation that we put together for the webinar. So if you are looking at your screen, that will be popping up now. Okay, so as I was saying before you could hear me, we will have everyone on the call muted for the duration so that we can keep things running smoothly and eliminate any background noise. But if you do have any questions, please go ahead and enter them into the chat field. And Giselle and I will be monitoring that and answering questions periodically throughout the call. You can also save your questions till the end, and we will have a question and answer session after we do some introduction about the competition for the first 30 minutes here. Okay. So to start off, I want to give you a little bit of background about Strategic Energy Innovations. We are a nonprofit based out of Marin, and we have been serving communities for over 22 years. And our goal is to inspire and empower to advance solutions for a healthy and thriving planet. And we want to do that through building leaders that are going to help create solutions to our climate challenges. And we do this through working on a number of different platforms, including education, housing, government, and workforce development. So our Energize Schools program is the program that brings the Energy Conservation Competition to you all. This is a program funded by the California State IOUs, so investor-owned utilities, including Pacific Gas and Electric, Southern California Edison, and Southern California Gas. So our current services are offered at no cost to high schools within those three service territories, PG&E, Southern California Edison, and California Gas. Under our Energize Schools program, we break our services into two categories. The first being education, where we have a large curriculum bank covering a number of energy, sustainability, and environmental related projects, including the curriculum that you will see today for the Energy Conservation Competition. In the springtime, we offer Green Careers conferences that happen in the Bay Area, Los Angeles, and San Diego. Those Green Careers conferences gather professionals in a range of environment, engineering, and sustainability fields. They present to students, and students are also able to present on the projects they work on throughout the year. During the summertime, we have 2 week-long teacher trainings that cover our year-long career technical education courses that we offer under our curriculum, and we also have tours and field trip support. So that is our education category under Energize Schools. And I will also note that with the curriculum that we offer, as you will see with the Energy Conservation Competition, we can also offer in-class instructional support and instructional planning for teachers, meaning that we can come and visit your classrooms, do projects with your students, and help you master new topics. In the conservation category of our Energize Schools program, that is where our energy conservation competition falls. And also we have an Earth Day campaign in the springtime. And lastly, we can support with green teams. So if you are on the phone and thinking about joining the energy conservation competition, we work with teachers in their classrooms with a range of different subjects. So we do not have a limit on the type of subjects that we can work with. And we have also in the past worked with green teams more broadly at schools.
And so for today's webinar, we're going to go more deeply into all the details of the competition, including the competition timeline, benefits of the energy conservation competition, reviewing our curriculum launch package for the competition, and then leave time at the end for questions. So I just wanted to remind you all of the resources that we provide, as Jessica was saying, specific now to the competition. So we offer our in-class instructional support for the competition in terms of a launch lesson. And a launch lesson looks like anything you would want it to look like in terms of covering the resources for the competition. For a lot of our schools, we do the audit part as our launch lesson. So we introduce the light auditing and watt meter auditing in the classroom with your students and go through some of the handouts. So that's one way that we can support a launch lesson, but I have definitely covered different aspects of the competition that teachers want more support in. Some may want a little bit more support in campaign planning and others with the audit materials, so it's up to you. Whatever in-class instructional support that you would like, we can help you with. And so everybody in the competition is assigned an energy advisor, and that energy advisor will be the one hosting those launch lessons with you and answering any questions along the way. And like I was mentioning, the competition curriculum is very flexible in terms of how much class time you have available. Some teachers put in a lot of time, other teachers don't have as much time to put in, but can still participate in the competition. So it's very flexible to the amount of time that's available, and that just lends to how deeply you cover some of the topics or how much time you spend doing the campaign. So it's completely up to you and how much time is available in your class.
Great, and you will get a clear picture of some of those audits that Giselle is referring to as when we go through the energy conservation competition launch package that has all of that outlined in detail. So if you have any questions on that, more details to come. Great. So I want to introduce the timeline for the energy conservation competition. So the first stage of the competition is between registration, which the registration deadline is October 11th, which is this Friday. So between registration and October 31st, we are encouraging schools to identify conservation opportunities by scheduling launch lessons with your energy advisor and consulting with them. We also hope that you are developing your conservation action plan and beginning to implement conservation strategies. We, in this time period, are also working as a team to get access to your electricity data, because as part of the energy conservation competition, we aim to gain access to all the schools' data through working with their districts and be able to track the amount of energy usage reduction that is achieved throughout the competition period. So the competition takes place from October 31st to November 20th. So this is the 3-week period where we are closely monitoring your energy data, and you hopefully at your sites are going full blast into implementing your conservation campaigns. That means reaching out to teachers, working with students, and getting the word out that you are in the energy conservation competition. You will be able to check your weekly standings throughout this time period on the competition page of the Energize Schools website. And after the competition period, you will be able to celebrate your successes, analyze your savings, and get access to that data. So a lot of opportunities there for data analysis work with your students as well. And finally, competition resources or conservation action plan resources will be due for review by November 22nd. So we will get more into some examples of what schools have done to implement action campaigns in the past. Again, this is the outline of the energy conservation competition timeline. Your energy advisor will be working with you to implement and sending you that for the competition.
Yeah, and just wanted to go into a little bit more detail about that energy data access. You will not be responsible for gaining that energy data access. We realize that you have a lot of things to do, so we actually will be working on getting that data access. The only thing that we would ask from you is if you have a district contact that you know, someone, maybe a facilities manager at the district, they're sometimes a lot more willing to hear us out if they know that a teacher is behind us and really wants to participate in the competition. But that's about it. If you know somebody that you can connect us with, then that's pretty much all you have to do. We will be working directly with the district and handle all of that background information and doing to get access to both your energy data and also solar if your school has solar. So we will be doing that, not you.
Great. And to give an overview of how energy savings will be measured, so about a week prior to the energy conservation competition, we are going to collect data to set a baseline for your school. So we will have a baseline energy usage, and then the data that we collect for the 3 weeks of the competition will be compared to that baseline. So that is how we measure the energy reductions. So if you are undergoing retrofits, or have any other situations that may affect that baseline data, please communicate with your energy advisor, and we are happy to work with you. Great. So as we introduce with the students when we come into the classroom, we want to kick off here by talking about the benefits of the energy conservation competition. So of course, energy is money, right? We all have seen energy bills most likely, and through joining the energy conservation competition, you will be supporting your school in reducing those energy costs. In the US, schools spend more than $8 billion a year on energy. So this is enough to buy 8 million iPhones and K-12 school supplies for all US students, which we see outlined here, which is a lot of money that could go. I'm sure you could all think of many ways that this could be better spent than on electricity. So you will help your school create this excess funding through the energy conservation competition. Additionally, you will reduce the carbon footprint of your school because energy consumption is connected to greenhouse gas emissions, especially in a state like California that uses a lot of natural gas, which is one of the 3 types of non-renewable fossil fuel sources that are used for electricity. And along with that, you will reduce, again, the environmental impact that you're having. And this is a great opportunity. So as you may be teaching students about challenging topics such as climate change, pollution, as they learn more about human impact on the earth, this competition can be an empowering way for students to make positive and visible impact on their campuses and in their communities.
Okay. So what have schools achieved? So last fall, we had 60 schools that participated in the competition. The winning school reduced their energy or their electricity consumption by 18.7%, and altogether they saved 204,727 kilowatt hours, which is equal to 350,000 miles driven in a car. So it is helpful to also kind of think about the savings in terms of mileage or something that's a little bit more, makes a little bit more sense than kilowatt hours, because even though that number looks big, it's like, what is a kilowatt hour in my life? So so that's always a really cool number that we share with students. Okay, and so again, you can track your savings on our website we'll be updating as the competition goes along. And so to participate in the competition, right, we have some prizes. And so we have 2 categories of prizes. The first category is for highest energy savings. And we have up to $900 for the first place winner, up to $700 for the second place, and up to $500 for the third place. And so that is that percentage that we saw, that top school reduced their energy consumption by 18.7%. So in highest percentages, that's how that would be awarded. And then the next sector for winnings is for the best campaign. So that's what we're asking. That's why we're asking for you to submit your campaigns, because that's the second avenue that we can give prizes for. So maybe you had a really, really amazing campaign, but your savings didn't match just as well as your campaign resources, but we still have prizes for that as well, and it's up to $300 for up to 5 schools. So depending on the amount of resources we get back and the amount of schools and just how amazing all your campaigns are will decide the winners. So the first option for categories or for prizes is just for savings, and then the second option is for campaign resources. And if you're top in both of those categories, then you potentially could win both.
Great. And these prizes will be awarded to the teacher that is leading the group, and they can be used in any way that your energy team at your site decides. So you can throw a pizza party, you can purchase watt meters and light meters if you want to have resources in your classroom to do more energy auditing in the future. Maybe you decide to get power strips to help further energy conservation at your school. So the way that you want to spend these winnings is going to be totally up to you.
And your students.
And your students.
They worked hard.
Yes, we absolutely want to encourage their decision making about these funds as well.
And again, so you would submit your campaign materials to us through a Google form, which we will share with you, or your energy advisor will share with you soon, the details on that. And that literally means photos of posters that you made, link to video. It's literally anything that just records all the work that you did. Okay, so now we're going to be going into the curriculum part of our competition, and I'm going to walk you through the folder where all of our competition resources are, all the lessons are. So let's go to it. Okay, so when you open up that folder that's shared with you, it looks like this. And we want you to go specifically to the launch outline.
And this folder will be shared with you upon registration. So you will work with your energy advisor to get access to the resource that we are about to go through.
Yes. So I always want to click on this launch outline. I don't want to click on the resources linked because it won't make a lot of sense. So if I click on this energy conservation competition launch outline, it'll take me to all the materials, and all the materials in that folder are linked here. So there's no reason to really open the other folder. So here we have our outline, and this is just also basically what a lot of our curriculum, how it's outlined. So this is just one piece of our curriculum, but as Jessica had mentioned in the beginning, we have a wide library of curriculum. So it's all kind of organized in the same way. Here's a little paragraph describing what's here in the launch package. We have pre and post competition assessments, and it's in a Google form version so that we can get those responses right away, and we can share those responses with you as well. And then we have the option of additional resources in going more into maybe deeper into the energy side of things. So you can browse the curriculum library here. So all of these are links you can click on. I won't click on it right now, but
for example, Giselle, in this outline, you will be brought through our introductory energy conservation curriculum. But if you were interested in going deeper with your students, looking at mechanical systems and not just plug and lighting load levels at your school, we do have an energy auditing certificate that goes deeper in those projects. So if you're interested, contact your energy advisor or request through our curriculum library online.
Yeah, and then when you click on the link, it'll show the library. You can preview also, or yeah, let me just click on it. Why not? You can preview the materials. So let's see. Here it says Energize Schools curriculum is freely available to all California 9 through 12 teachers by request. So this is the link that you would click when you're ready and you've decided what pieces of curriculum you want. We have them organized by class or by subject, just to make it a little bit easier. But so I think, for example, let's click on environmental science. I have all of these curriculum pieces here. Again, those prices, if you're a California teacher, don't apply to you. So let's see. Okay, the energy certificate. Well, it might be in one of the other sections. You can just click on but yeah, I'm just going to click on this school water assessment, for an example. Has all the things that the package includes, the curriculum package includes, and then you can click to see a preview as well of the curriculum. And this preview has the table of contents. It has an example of some of the activities. So here you can see all the activities that are going to be in the curriculum package, and then it shows you, here's more just pieces of information for the curriculum and how to use it. The standards covered are in all of our curriculum pieces.
Our curriculum aligns with NGSS, CTE, Common Core, and Common Core standards.
Yeah. Yes. And then, so here's just lesson 1 overview. There is a
and a sample activity.
Yeah, a sample activity here. Yeah, okay. So you got the idea. So that's just that one piece. So that was that link there. Next, it has learning objectives for the competition and essential questions you are going to be covering. And so this particular curriculum package for the competition, we have a PowerPoint that you can show to introduce your students to energy conservation competition. So kind of like we're doing here, it's a separate PowerPoint, but just really for them to get to know what the competition looks like and what's going to happen. So that's there. Then we go into the fundamentals of energy and power. And it has a coffee maker energy use activity and energy calculations. Next is that plug load and lighting that I mentioned before. Go ahead.
So the way that this outline is set up, so the text that we are looking at on the page here is an outline of the activities and resources that you use. So for example, Giselle mentioned this is the fundamentals of energy topic. So this can be taught in 1 to 2 45-minute class periods or 1 90-minute class period. And we can see you would use the fundamentals of energy and power. This is the piece of curriculum. So if you open this up, you get a PDF that looks like the piece of curriculum we sampled from the website. So it starts out with an overview, so you can see the standards that the curriculum piece covers. We have keywords if you like to do activities with vocabulary with your students. And if we continue to scroll down, we have a day-to-day breakdown of what is in this activity. So as you could see from the launch outline, we're going to cover the coffee maker power use activity. So if we continue to scroll down, all of our activities are set up first with the setting the stage. So this setting the stage section is a teacher-facing resource, but if you would want to share it with your students, that's an option as well. And it gives you all of the necessary information that you need to teach this activity. So even if you have no background with energy and power, you can read this and become an expert enough to teach your students. So if we continue to scroll down, so after we're introduced to the topic, we get a teacher-facing description of the activity. So in the activity description, again, it's teacher-facing and will detail how to instruct your students in the activity. And if we continue to scroll down, we start to see resources that are student-facing, including handouts that they will print, or you will print and utilize during the activity with your students. So that is an overview of how our curriculum is connected to the launch outline. So if we go back to the launch outline, you can also see that we have a PowerPoint link. So if we go to that, and this PowerPoint has a number of different sections in it. So as you noticed from the launch outline, we are covering energy and power. So that means all the slides that you will need are in lesson 2.1, which is right here.
Yeah, okay. So go through everything. Okay,
Great.
Okay. And so the same thing is repeated for each one of those lessons. I have here the piece of curriculum that includes both teacher-facing and student handouts, and right next to it, the accompanying PowerPoint. And here's just the outline of what is in that piece of curriculum. So then it goes into the next lesson is energy auditing, plug loads, and lighting. So this is typically also what we cover in the launch lesson, because we're able to bring those light meters and watt meters with us as well if you don't have access to them now when we come do a launch lesson. So we can bring those materials as well with us to use in the class.
For example, I was down in Southern California this weekend doing a number of launch lessons. One school I went to was Rialto High School. They have an energy and World of the Future course that I visited. I came in with 8 watt meters. So the watt meters are used to do plug load audits, so auditing appliances that plug into the wall. And I also brought 8 light meters with me that measure brightness so that we could detect how well, if the classroom is overlit, underlit, so that we could identify through those audits opportunities for conservation at the school. So just to paint the picture of how we can actually come into your classroom and lead these hands-on activities with your students.
Yes. So then again, it has everything for energy auditing basics, as well as plug. So there's an activity for that plug load, and then for the lighting levels as well. And the handouts we have also attached here, but they're also in this piece of curriculum. So altogether, you can find everything here, but for easier access, the handouts, just in case you wanted to go and print them quickly, instead of scrolling, the handouts are linked there as well. But it's the same handouts that are in here. And so the last lesson, or second to last lesson of the competition, is the conservation action planning. And so this has everything that you would need. You can click through it. Including some language on examples. So again, all of our curriculum looks the same. We have this intro section here, preparation that you need or may need, and lesson breakdown here. Going into the setting the stage, this has a little bit more information on, just depends how deeply you want to go into the topics. So here's more on audit review and HVAC systems, an optional walkthrough audit of the whole entire school as well. But here's this main activity for this is the campaign action plans. So here we have designing a successful campaign as a class in groups, goes through more of that and some of those handouts as well. We have an example here filled out from other students for campaign action planning, more ideas and best practices, so more information, and then at the end we have those handouts for the planning. So this planning, again, ideally would start before the 31st, because the 31st is that first day we're tracking that data. So ideally we would want to have planned our campaign before the 31st, and then really start implementing on the 31st all the way till the 20th.
Great. And the campaign action planning is a great opportunity for your students to build leadership skills, use their creativity, and master some task management and implementation.
And so the last piece here, we have a data analysis handout that will, can open it as well. That kind of just addresses the format that the data that we have and that we will give you. So we basically have the kilowatt hours that you use throughout the time of the competition. So you can and we'll also give you the baseline that we used. So you can really compare, and these are just some prompting questions to really help you analyze some of that data that we give you to really see the impacts of your campaign, what you could have done differently, what did you do successfully, potentially, and just brainstorm and reflect after you have completed the competition. Okay.
Great. So
go back to the PowerPoint.
So that is an overview of our launch package. And again, you will be working closely with your energy advisor who can lead you through all of those resources and support you in teaching in the classroom as well. So I think now would be great to jump into some samples of campaigns that schools have covered in the past.
So I'll quickly just talk about this.
Oh, great. These are good strategies.
Yeah, so just some strategies that we've seen, and yeah, many schools do. So weekend shutdowns, and this is where we can really see the difference in the data. You can clearly see the difference from Monday through Friday to the weekend in successful weekend shutdowns. Lighting, computers, plug loads, and energy monitors. So really making sure to inform the school and in your campaign to really take note of when lighting is on and not in use. Same thing for computers and for plug loads. That are plugged in and not in use. And so our campaign judging just focuses on originality, effectiveness, accuracy, variety, longevity, and reach. So here is an example video. That one school, Yosemite High School, worked alongside an elementary school to expand their reach of the competition. So
So we'll watch a few minutes or a few seconds just to get a little spark of joy today.
Okay, we got the idea. But basically, Yosemite High School, as a form of their campaign, decided that they also wanted to extend their campaign resources and knowledge to a local elementary school. So that was part of the campaign. So besides campaign action planning on their campus for reductions, they also went to an elementary school. And this was all the high school students' idea. They wanted to teach their fellow elementary schoolers nearby. Okay. And then this is an example of a submission material for the competition by another high school. And so they literally just took pictures. Here's some social media posting that they did. They took pictures. And so this is what we're looking for, just some of that proof of all the hard work that you've done, including things like this, like screenshots, photos,
descriptions. You can give us your action plan. And this school submitted in a PowerPoint. And this year, like Giselle mentioned briefly before, we will have a Google form that will lead you to submit all of these materials.
Yes. So just more examples, they screenshotted some announcements to teachers that they had sent. They made pledges and they got more materials in that way. They had bracelets that they were handing out to spread awareness of the competition. So again, more emails to staff, morning announcements, lunch announcements, posters. They also made a video, and then end of the day checklist, and they also went through and did colors that match with a certain activity, conservation activities. So this school really went all out in all different aspects. So your campaign can look however you want it to, just as long as we get those photos or those details back in by the end, so you can qualify to be able to win one of those prizes. Okay, let's go back to our PowerPoint. Yeah,
Great. So I hope throughout this PowerPoint we have given you a picture of the resources that we can provide, including that launch lesson with the energy auditing activity, and also a image of what the campaign could look like at your school and the impact that you could have with your students and that your students can have on their community and school. So the next steps would be to register for the competition. If you haven't done that yet, you can visit our Energize Schools website, or my email is up on the board right now. So Jessica Redden at seiinc.org. And if you want to reach out to me, I can answer any questions. We can schedule a phone call to get you registered. Just want to note that the registration deadline is October 11th. So please register and reach out as soon as possible so that we can get you into the competition in time.
Yeah, and just type any questions that you have right now into the chat box and we can start answering them.
Thank you for sticking with us through our audio challenge in the beginning.
Yes.
Much appreciated. Okay, so we don't see any questions in the chat boxes. We could, I don't know if anybody maybe doesn't have access to be typing in their computer. We could unmute you all for a second and see if anybody wants to chime in and ask a question in person.
Oh, right here, I see a question. The question is, I was a few minutes late due to technical difficulties. How do we get an energy advisor? So the second you register for the competition, we will assign an energy advisor to you and they will reach out to you by email. So yeah, once you register for the competition, we will contact you with all the further details.
Great, thanks for your question.
We can unmute and see. So I see that there's some on the phone. Oh, let's see.
Any?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Doesn't
Doesn't sound like it.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Just a little bit of echoing in the background. But if you want to go back to the PowerPoint slide, my email is up right now, and you can also email the Energize Schools email address that you may have received information from about this webinar. So I hope that we have been able to give you a good idea about the competition today. We really encourage all of you to register. We are excited to work with, currently there are over 45 high schools registered, and we want to continue to grow that number over the next few days here. So we can stay on the line for another few minutes if any other questions come up. But if not, we will leave it to you to register for the energy conservation competition through our Energize Schools website. You can reach out to my email directly or email the Energize Schools email. So lots of options to get in touch with us.
And again, that also includes for any other resources that we talked about in the beginning. So any other curriculum pieces, filling out that form on our Energize Schools website, that curriculum page as well. So any resources in general or any questions that you have, please reach out.
Yeah, that's a great point, Giselle. And I will say the energy conservation competition is a great way to get started with SEI. So our resources are quite expansive, and the competition is a great way to just to get to know our team, get to know the resources that we offer, and begin to build our relationship as we hopefully plan more projects and visits to your classroom and supporting your students. Okay, so no questions are coming in here. So I think that we will go ahead and wrap up for today. I want to thank you all for taking time to join us We have really enjoyed getting to talk about the competition and have made ourselves quite excited through the process. We really look forward to seeing what all of the schools do and put together, and are excited to save some energy, reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and save money through it all. So hope to hear from you soon. And again, October 11th, this Friday, is the registration deadline. So get those registrations in if you want to join us. All right. Thank you very much. And we are available for any further questions. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. Bye.